Hi and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about second guessing yourself and how that's such a big deal if you grew up in a narcissistic family or you experienced emotional neglect as a child. And I'm going to be giving you 5 really simple steps to reduce or even eliminate the second guessing. So, hi, I'm Matt Fox and I specialise in helping people get over the effects of parental narcissistic abuse so that they can rediscover their self-esteem and their power and live their life with greater freedom and joy. So let's start with some definitions. What do I mean by second guessing? Well, second guessing is when you revisit and question all your decisions. So it's really hard to stay grounded and trust in the decision you've made and stick by it without agonizing over it or questioning it or asking other people what they think about the decisions you've made. So let's take some examples. One example could be you've applied for a job, you've got shortlisted for an interview, but you pull out last minute before the interview saying to yourself, I don't know if this is the right job for me, I don't know if this is the right company for me, I don't know if I'm good enough for this job, I don't know if the money's right, I don't know if this is the right thing in my career at this point, I don't know if I can deal with the commute, I don't know if I like the culture of the company, all these things that you can start questioning yourself about. Another example might be you've put the deposit down on a car, you get home, you get into a cold sweat, you start thinking, I don't know if I can afford this, I don't know if this is the right model, I don't know if I struck a really good deal, I don't know if I really want to trade in my old car, or if this is the first car you're buying, if I even want to go into car ownership, I don't know if I can afford this, whatever it is. These are the kind of agonies of the second guessing. Another example might be booking a holiday, you pay for the flights, or you put a deposit down on a package and you start questioning yourself, you start thinking, okay, is this really the holiday that I want for myself? Is this the right time of year? Can I afford it? All the same sort of questions again. And the second guessing can also cut across other experiences in your life. It might be in more trivial ways. Like the weekend, you're out going out for some food, or you're getting a takeaway. Am I making the right choice? Do I really feel like this food? Oh, I've ordered this, but I really don't want it. Etc., etc. So second guessing quite often goes along with people pleasing. People pleasing is also very prevalent in people who've experienced parental narcissistic abuse. As a people pleaser, you often set aside your own needs for the other person's needs. You want to make sure that they whatever it takes to keep them happy. But if you should stray into the territory of actually voicing an opinion and deciding actually this is what I want and putting your hand up and saying let's go for this, then the second guessing can come in and really nip you very viciously, and your confidence, your wind is taken out of your sails. You suddenly, your confidence is blown. You're really scared that you might have made a bad choice. What if people don't like it? What if they don't like me? What if it all goes wrong? You get that sort of inadequate feeling, and the second guessing really kicks in. So that often goes together with second guessing yourself and people pleasing. And of course it goes together with so low self-esteem as well, which is I don't really trust myself, I don't feel good about myself, I can't make decisions in my life. All these stories where you tell yourself that you can't, you're not able to, it's impossible, I should be able to, whatever these kind of critical thoughts are that come into your mind. So you may be sitting here and thinking, okay, well, that's all well and good. Yeah, I get some of the second guessing, and some of that resonates with me. And you might be asking yourself now, okay, well, why does this happen to me? What is it about growing up in a narcissistic family system with a narcissistic parent or one who was emotionally neglectful? Why does that make me a second guesser now in my adult life? My guess is that if you grew up in that environment, you quickly learned that it was pretty difficult to express any needs and have them met. You rarely got what you truly wanted and needed. You would have had to adapt to a parent, and this might have happened even before you could talk at a pre-verbal stage. As an infant, you might have not been mirrored or attended to. If the parent wasn't attuned to you, you might have been crying or hungry, or your nappy needed changing. And that parent did not respond. They did not mirror you. And the baby quickly internalizes that as, okay, there's something about me There's something about me that has to be split off. I'm not lovable as I am. I'm not getting the attention I need. And you start to adapt. And maybe you adapt by not crying much, or making a parent laugh, or becoming the klutz, or whatever it is that you have to do to get the parent's attention. And later that adapts even further. So as you become a verbal being in your childhood, you might start taking care of your parents' needs, parentifying as we call it, making sure they're okay emotionally. Or you might have been the perfect student if you're a high achiever. Or you might have started wearing clothes, particular clothes that pleased your parent, or behaving in a particular way, or excelling. Whatever it was, you stopped being yourself so you could be what you felt they wanted you to be, because doing that got you that bit of attention that was so lacking elsewhere. And it took you away from the danger zone, which is, if you didn't do that, that it might blow up in your face and you might be humiliated or excluded or marginalized or cold-shouldered if you didn't do what your parent wanted or needed of you. So over time, what happens is that your feelings start getting buried away. It starts to get really difficult to know what it is that you truly want or need in your life. You don't have a compass anymore. You don't have values by which to set course and steer your life's course. You might act by somebody else's values, by somebody else's needs, and after a time you might run aground, and you might run aground in the form of anxiety or depression, or never really knowing or being able to speak your mind, which is what second guessing is partly about. So it gets really tough when you're invisible, when your compass is invisible to you. So with all that, you might be asking yourself now, what can I do about it? This second guessing is tough. It kind of agonize over it. What can I do to change it, to feel differently? So that's what I'm going to cover now. And I've got 5 really easy ways in which you can start to reduce, alleviate, or even eliminate the second guessing. So the first one is about compassion, and that's really about letting yourself off the hook. Okay, so you're not flawed or faulty or wrong or a bad person for second guessing, even though your critical voice might say those things to you, might shame you for them. But really the second guessing is an adaptation. It's a way of surviving what was a difficult and toxic environment. That's not to mean that it has to be like this forever. You're listening to this video and you might have thoughts yourself about how to change things, or you might get coaching or therapy, or the steps I'm sharing here might make a difference for you. So you're not stuck in this place, but this is the place from which you've come. Okay, and letting yourself off the hook and saying, okay, with compassion, this has been my life so far. I'm choosing to change it right now. Okay, secondly, is to start to really identify and name your likes and dislikes. Okay, so you may be able to do this already for some things, but it's using the wisdom and the power of your body to inform those likes and dislikes. So food is a really simple and good example. If I ask you what your favourite food is, you might be able to say very quickly and easily. And then if I ask you, well, why is it you like that food? What is it about it? And you might think, okay, it's flavour, taste, or it evokes a memory, or it's something I had from childhood that was a positive memory, or it's something I've learned to like as an adult and I really love now. Whatever it is, okay, that's useful information. But let's do a little experiment now. If you close your eyes and really bring that food vividly into your imagination. So if visualize that food, picture it in its full kind of glory. If it's cold or warm, just see it on a plate, or however you eat it. See the textures of it. Experience the smell of it coming off the plate or wherever it is. Savor the flavor, the texture of it. Just feel your taste buds coming into contact with it as you have it in your mouth. You chew it, you swallow it. And as you do that, just bring your attention down into your body. What do you notice in your body? Are there pleasurable sensations? Does your tummy feel expanded, or your chest lighter? Or is there a tingling or an excitement in your body? Is there a feeling of well-being that comes into your body? All that is information. So you can use that information in your body when you're making decisions. When you run a decision past yourself in your imagination, how does your body respond? Does it tighten? Does it clench? Or does it relax and feel good about it and energized? And all that is really valuable information to stop second guessing yourself. Thirdly is about your inner compass, the values I've talked about already. So if you can get really clear on your values, it can help so much in making effective decisions, because it gives you almost like a checklist to say, okay, does this decision conform with my values as they are now? And by values I mean guiding principles, influences, philosophies, feelings that support you in your life in making the right decisions. So for example, fairness or justice, that's a big one for people, particularly if they've had a narcissistic upbringing, because life wasn't very fair for them at that time. Things got done to you, or there were decisions made that really took away your power. It wasn't innately fair. So now as an adult, I imagine that for many of you, fairness is a really big deal. It's a principle. It's a guiding value. But there might be others. Making ethical decisions, living kindly, living with generosity, supporting others, being creative in your life, being environmentally aware, being clear in your communication, being assertive, whatever your values are, just take the time to brainstorm them if you're not in touch with them right now. Make a list of them, a short list of them, maybe have 4 or 5, and think, okay, these are the decision making points of the compass that I use all the time to help me make the decisions I need in my life. Okay, number 4 is about tapping into your deeper wisdom. So everybody has this inner wisdom, this still, maybe small voice or quiet voice within you that deep down knows what the right thing to do is, and will always know that, has always known and will always know. It's kind of an enduring part of you that has a deeper wisdom. You could think of it in spiritual terms. It's like the source or the higher self, or the God in your life, or it could just be your inner wisdom. Whatever your belief system is, it doesn't matter, but it's trusting that there is this inner power, this inner solidity, this inner clarity that will always support you in your decision making throughout your life. So knowing that and trusting in that and listening to it when you can. And some ways you can tell it's present. It can be like a tingling in your body. It can be a profound calmness. It can be like a feeling in your gut. It can be like a peak experience, one of kind of bliss and joy. Those are all signs of being in touch with that deeper wisdom. And the final one is quite difficult to express without coming across wrong, but what it is about decisions. There are no right or wrong decisions. That's really what I want to say. And that's. I don't mean to be facile with that, because of course decisions have consequences. That is always true. Going back to choosing a car or buying a house or getting a new job. If you make a decision, there is a consequence that goes with that, and that consequence might be a positive one or it might be a challenging one. But if you take the sting away out of that and say, well, okay, I'm just making a decision here, and I'll live with the consequences, because with freedom comes responsibility. If I choose freely, then I have responsibility for my decision. And it's very rare that any decision is irreversible. There are consequences. It might cost you money, it might cost you time, it might cost you pride, whatever it is, there might be a cost attached, but it's not irrevocable. And it's really important, if you can let yourself know, okay, there are no right or wrong decisions, there are just decisions, and it can change your relationship to the whole process of decision making, and therefore change your relationship to your second guessing. So there we have it. 5 really simple ways to start changing your experience of second guessing, and maybe kind of reducing or even eliminating the second guessing. So just a quick recap. The first one is letting yourself off the hook. Just giving yourself a soothing pat on the back, saying, okay, there's a reason why I am like this, but it doesn't mean to say I have to be like this for the rest of my life. Secondly, really getting to know your likes and dislikes, using your body to inform those decisions, using your sensations. Thirdly, really getting familiar with your your values, so they can help inform your decision making. So you know by what measure you make a decision. Fourthly, trusting your inner wisdom. So really knowing that you have a deeper part of you that knows what the right thing to do is. And fifth, really getting a sense that there are no right or wrong decisions. There are just decisions to be made in life. That is how we move forward in life. And we have to take responsibility for that. And with that comes power as well as freedom. So there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this. I'd be really curious to hear your experiences of second guessing, and whether there are things that have helped you to reduce the second guessing in your life, or any other tips you want to share. You can find out more about my work at www.mattdfox.com and sign up for regular updates from me, and you'll get my free guide on the 10 steps to overcoming and recovering from childhood emotional neglect and narcissistic abuse. And please do subscribe to my channel here on YouTube, where I'll be just regularly updating with new videos. Thanks very much, and see you soon.